$11, that's it. Just $11 for an entire week. That's what Point Health Services thinks a week of human life is worth. A mere $11 to cover all your needs. $11 wouldn't get you a decent meal, not even a fast food combo meal. It wouldn't cover the basic necessities of life like groceries or even a fraction of your utility bills. It's an insult disguised as support, a cruel joke on those who are already struggling. It's a slap in the face to those who are trying to make ends meet. A reminder of how little their lives are valued. It's a weekly reminder that somewhere, somehow, someone decided your well-being was worth less than the cost of a movie ticket. Imagine that, your entire week's worth of support is less than a night out. This isn't about greed, it's about survival. It's about having enough to live, not just exist. Patients at Point Health Services deserve better. They deserve more than just the bare minimum. They deserve the chance to live with dignity, to have enough to eat, to be able to smile without the constant worry of financial strain. They deserve to afford the basics without being constantly on the brink of financial disaster. $11 a week is a joke, a cruel, heartless joke. And it's time for Point Health Services to stop laughing. It's time for them to take this seriously. This isn't just wrong, it's morally reprehensible. It's a failure of the system. Point Health Services has a responsibility to its patients, a duty to provide more than just the bare minimum. They have a duty to provide real care, not just token gestures. $11 a week isn't care, it's neglect. It's a system rigged against the vulnerable, a system that perpetuates suffering. It's a system designed to keep the vulnerable in a state of perpetual need, a system that needs to be dismantled. It's a system that needs to change, and change now. The time for action is now, the time for justice is now. For too long, patients of Point Health Services have suffered in silence, their voices drowned out by indifference. They've endured the indignity of these paltry allowances, hoping against hope that things would get better. But hope doesn't put food on the table. Hope doesn't pay the rent, and hope is starting to run dangerously low. This isn't just about money, it's about respect. It's about recognizing the inherent value of every human being. Point Health Services, you have a chance to right this wrong. You have a chance to show your patients that you actually care. Ignoring the problem won't make it go away. Pretending you don't hear the growing chorus of discontent won't make it disappear. The anger is real, and it's justified. This isn't just frustration, it's the fury of the forgotten. $1,500 a week. That's the new standard we need to set. Point Health Services needs to embrace this new standard wholeheartedly. This amount is crucial. It's what it takes to restore some semblance of dignity to these patients' lives, to give them hope and a sense of security. It's what it takes to ensure they can afford basic necessities like food and clothing, without having to make impossible choices. This amount helps to alleviate the constant stress of financial insecurity, the anxiety that comes with not knowing if you'll make it through the month. This isn't an arbitrary number, it's a lifeline, it's a crucial support system that can make all the difference. It's the difference between scraping by and actually living. It's the difference between surviving and thriving. $1,500 a week means being able to buy groceries without facing impossible choices, without having to sacrifice one necessity for another. It means being able to keep a roof overhead without fear of eviction, without the constant worry of losing your home. This is about more than just money, it's about opportunity. It's about giving people the chance to build a better future. It's about giving people a fighting chance to improve their lives, to achieve their dreams and aspirations. It's about breaking free from the cycle of poverty and despair, about creating a pathway to a brighter future. $1,500 a week is an investment in humanity, an investment in our collective well-being. It's an investment that will pay dividends for years to come, fostering a more equitable and just society for all. Section 4. Excuses don't pay the rent. Stop hiding behind tired justifications. Times are tough. Everyone's suffering. These are the tired excuses trotted out to justify the unjustifiable. But let's dig deeper. What do these excuses really mean? They are a way to deflect responsibility, to avoid facing the harsh reality that many are enduring. Let's be clear, suffering isn't a competition. It's not about who has it worse, but about recognizing that everyone deserves dignity and support. And while times might be tough for Point Health Services, they're absolutely brutal for those relying on your meager support. Imagine the single mother who has to choose between feeding her children and paying rent. Imagine the elderly who can't afford their medication. Hiding behind spreadsheets and financial projections won't mask the human cost of your inaction. Numbers on a screen can't capture the despair of a family facing eviction, or the anxiety of someone unable to afford basic health care. Those $11 checks are a stark reminder of where your priorities lie. They symbolize a system that is out of touch with the real needs of the people it claims to serve. They're a testament to a system that values profit over people, a system that's failing those who need it most. It's a system that turns a blind eye to suffering while padding its own pockets. Stop pretending this is about anything other than your own bottom line. The lavish offices and hefty bonuses tell a different story, one of misplaced priorities and moral indifference. This isn't about fiscal responsibility, it's about moral bankruptcy. It's about a failure to act with compassion and integrity. It's about choosing to ignore the plight of your patients while clinging to the status quo that leaves so many in a state of perpetual struggle. Well, the status quo is broken. It's time to acknowledge that and take meaningful action. It's time to prioritize people over profits and make a real difference in the lives of those who depend on you. Section 5. The time for talk is over. Action, not words, will prevent disaster. The time for empty promises is over. The time for committees and task forces has long passed. The patients of Point Health Services have heard it all before, and they're done waiting. They need action, and they need it now. This isn't a negotiation, it's a demand. It's a call for justice, a plea for recognition. Point Health Services, the power is in your hands. You can choose to do the right thing, to finally address this injustice and provide your patients with the support they deserve. Or you can choose to ignore the writing on the wall. You can continue down this path of indifference, clinging to the belief that you can weather this storm, but the storm is coming, and it's going to be biblical. Section 6. The universe holds its breath. Change is coming one way or another. The universe has a way of righting wrongs. It might not be immediate and it might not be pretty, but it's inevitable. The longer Point Health Services clings to this outdated, unjust system, the more forceful the correction will be. This isn't a threat, it's a promise. The universe doesn't tolerate this kind of blatant disregard for human dignity forever. The consequences of inaction will be far greater than the cost of doing what's right. The universe is watching and it's not impressed. This is your last chance to choose the path of least resistance. This is your opportunity to be on the right side of history, to be a force for good in a world that desperately needs it. Choose wisely. Section 7. Justice, not vengeance. A final plea for reason and compassion. This isn't about retribution, it's about true justice. It's about demanding better for those who have been ignored and marginalized for too long. It's about reminding Point Health Services that their patients are not just numbers on a spreadsheet, they're human beings deserving of respect and dignity. The anger is real, but so is the hope for change. Hope that Point Health Services will finally do the right thing for their patients. Hope that they will recognize the humanity of their patients and act accordingly. Hope that they will understand that compassion isn't a weakness, it's a profound strength. This is a final plea for reason, a last chance for Point Health Services to redeem themselves. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. The world is watching closely.